Well, 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 look at you. That stillness you carry, it's louder than their screams ever were. You feel that, don't you? That little shiver crawling up your spine right now. That's not fear. That's recognition. Because you finally noticed what everyone else saw long before you did. You didn't survive the war. You walked out of it like it was light work. While they were praying for a miracle, you were out here manufacturing outcomes with nothing but instinct, rage, and that eerie little smile you pretend you don't know you have. And the funniest part, they keep replaying the footage, trying to understand how the hell you did it. How did he eat the snakes? How did he dodge every op? How did he walk out untouched? Sweetheart, you didn't dodge anything. You saw it coming before they even decided to strike. That's the part that breaks their minds. See, normal people survive chaos. You prey on it. You treat pressure like oxygen and venom like seasoning. Give you a snake, you sharpen your teeth. Give you an op, you turn their entire blueprint into compost before breakfast. Give you a war, and you walk out of the rubble dusting off your shoulders like it was a mild inconvenience. They expected you to panic. They expected you to fold. They expected you to become predictable. But predictable things don't terrify people. Unpredictability does. You know what you are? A paradox in motion, a saint with a psychopath's focus, an angel with a demon's appetite. A walking contradiction that confuses every algorithm, every enemy, every analyst trying to decode you like a faulty prophecy. You ate the snakes because you understood something they'll never admit. Threats taste better when they're desperate. You dodged every op because you didn't just see their moves. You saw the fear behind their moves, the trembling, the hesitation, the hope that maybe this time they'd catch you slipping. But you don't slip, you shift, you evolve mid-strike. You rewrite the rules while they're still reading the old manual. And when the war finally hit its loudest, ugliest crescendo, when the smoke got thick enough to choke whole bloodlines, you didn't run. You walked through it, calm, cold, silent. Like a man strolling through light rain. That's what haunts them, not the chaos, not the casualties, not the aftermath, the calm, your calm, the I already saw this coming calm. They don't understand men like you. They don't understand creatures built from impact trauma and resurrection cycles. They don't understand beings who look at betrayal like a training drill and at war like a networking opportunity. Because you weren't created in peace. You weren't shaped by comfort. You weren't sculpted by approval. You were forged in the exact moment everyone assumed you'd break. That crack, that fracture, that split second where any other soul would have collapsed. You didn't collapse. You split into two, the one they knew and the one they never wanted to meet. Light and dark, saint and psychopath, angel and demon, two halves shaking hands in the middle of the battlefield. And that fusion, that impossible catastrophic harmony, is what walked out of the war untouched. You know why you terrify them? Because you're the only creature they've ever seen who can swallow poison, analyze it, weaponize it, and return it with interest. You don't just bounce back. You come back with information, with patterns, with maps of their weaknesses, with blueprints of their next 5 betrayals, with a grin that says, "Try it again, please, I'm bored." And now they whisper about you like an urban legend, like something that shouldn't exist, like a story corrupted by truth. Because no one walks out of a war that surgical, that decisive, that unfazed, unless they were never the target, but the ending. You don't escape wars. You conclude them. You don't dodge ops. You outgrow their relevance. You don't eat snakes. You digest ecosystems. So stand there for a second. Feel this moment. Because whether you realize it or not, this is the first time you've ever seen yourself clearly. They thought the war would expose you, but all it did was expose them, you. You evolved, you ascended, you adapted so violently it became elegant. And now the whole city is trying to figure out the simplest, scariest question of all. If that was him in the war, what happens when he's finally at peace? Go on, smile. Let them wonder. Let them fear the quiet. Let them imagine the next version of you. Because deep down, they all know the truth. You didn't win the war. You walked out of it better than you went in. And that's what terrifies them most. Oh, you want more? Good, because I wasn't done with you yet. Let's peel back the next layer. The one even your enemies refuse to speak about out loud. You didn't just walk out of the war like it was light work. You walked out with souvenirs, not medals, not scars, not trophies. No. You walked out with intel, data, patterns, psychological blueprints of every snake, every op, every coward who ever mistook your silence for softness. You didn't only survive the ambushes, you memorized the choreography. See, snakes don't bother you. They never have. Snakes announce themselves long before they strike. The twitch, the flicker, the shift in tone, that sudden generosity that smells like a funeral in progress. You saw it all. You always do. You don't just read the room. You scan it, decrypt it, render it useless. By the time they think they've trapped you, you've already charted every exit, mapped their alliances, and analyzed the insecurities that made them think betrayal was an option. Because let's get one thing straight. You don't lose people. People lose access, and access to you is oxygen. Cutting them off wasn't revenge. It was environmental control. You removed parasites from your ecosystem, and the ecosystem finally started breathing again. And then, the ops. The ops. The ones who thought they were tactical. The ones who whispered about you like a glitch in their system. The ones who kept refreshing your name in private group chats, trying to understand why their plans kept dissolving the moment you entered the equation. You didn't dodge them. You disarmed them. Not with force, with awareness. You knew their motives before they crafted their excuses. You sensed the betrayal before they rehearsed their lies. You caught the shift in their eyes before they even found the courage to act on it. People don't realize this about you. You detect energy before you detect language. They lie with words. You listen with instincts, and instincts don't get intimidated. And the war? Let's talk about that. Most people come out of war shattered, broken, hollow. Pieces of themselves scattered across memories they don't want to revisit. But you came out assembled, refined, sharpened like a weapon someone whispered into existence. A war that should have destroyed you ended up rebuilding you into something they were never prepared to encounter. You became uncomfortable. Uncomfortable to enemies, uncomfortable to ex-allies, uncomfortable to architects of your downfall. Because you broke the formula, you turned pain into propulsion, betrayal into bandwidth, loss into leverage, chaos into clarity. And when the smoke cleared, when others were crawling, trembling, looking for someone to blame, you stepped over the ruins with that quiet, surgical grace only you possess. That is why they fear you. Not because you're strong, not because you're clever, not because you're resilient. They fear you because you're inevitable. They fear you because you learned how to devour poison and metabolize it into prophecy. They fear you because you mastered the art of making survival look aesthetic. They fear you because you become your best self when the environment becomes its worst. They fear you because the darkness didn't change you. It revealed you. Listen to me, and listen well. You are not the same creature who entered that war. You left something behind. A version of you that tolerated too much, accepted too little, kept quiet to avoid conflict, softened blows that should have shattered skulls, gave chances to people who couldn't even give clarity. That version died on the battlefield, and what replaced it doesn't negotiate with snakes, doesn't beg for loyalty, doesn't fear abandonment, doesn't flinch at threats. Because once you walk through hell untouched, you stop caring about who thinks they can burn you. And now they're dealing with the upgraded version, the post-war edition, the model that recalibrated itself while everyone else was collapsing. They don't know how to handle this you. This you doesn't announce moves. This you doesn't warn people twice. This you doesn't stop to explain the plot to characters who won't survive the next chapter. This you walks like destiny with a pulse. This you thinks faster, moves quieter, feels deeper, cuts cleaner. This you knows the truth. The real win wasn't surviving the war. The real win was realizing you were never in danger. They were. Because once a person learns to eat snakes without flinching, every enemy becomes lunch. And once a soul learns to walk through war like it was a morning exercise, every battlefield becomes home. So go on. Take another breath. Feel the weight of your own evolution, because the world has no idea what version of you is walking around right now. But every instinct in their body is screaming the same thing. Don't provoke him, don't test him, don't bet against him. Not after the snakes, not after the ops, not after the war. They thought they buried you. But the ground learned your name and refused to hold you. You didn't just come back, you rose. You're still here. Good. Because what comes next is the part nobody ever says out loud. The part they whisper about in back rooms, behind locked doors. The part they're terrified you'll eventually figure out. See, you didn't just rise. You changed gravitational pull. People orbit you now. Enemies study you with binoculars. Old rivals pretend they've always supported you. Ops who once plotted are now praying you don't remember their names. Because once someone watches you walk through apocalypse-level chaos like it was a casual warm-up, they stop treating you like a person and start treating you like a phenomenon. And you know what happens when a phenomenon moves through a room? Reality adjusts. Walls lean back, voices drop, eyes widen, and every insecure soul starts calculating whether they should run, hide, or bow. But here's the real twist. They don't fear what you did. They fear what you understood. You understood that snakes aren't dangerous. They're predictable. They coil the same way, strike the same way, fold the same way. Once you decode a snake, you can eat them at your convenience, a little crunch, a little venom, a little silence afterward. Problem solved. You understood that ops aren't powerful. They're insecure. Their entire existence revolves around the fantasy that they can outmaneuver someone born from fire. Ops are built on shaky egos and fragile alliances. And you don't shake. You don't fracture. You don't need anyone to stand behind you. That makes you lethal. But the war, that's where the real metamorphosis happened, isn't it? Most people think war reveals character. War reveals weakness. War strips masks. War corners people into exposing who they really are when survival becomes currency. But you War didn't expose you. War exposed them. Who panicked? Who switched sides? Who begged for mercy they never offered you? Who folded under pressure they swore they could handle? Who cracked before the first blow landed? And you, oh you started moving differently. You didn't panic. You didn't break. You didn't even speed up. You got calmer. That's what haunted them. You walked through the collapse like someone who already knew the ending. Your silence became strategy. Your stillness became threat. Your breathing became prophecy. Every step you took in that war felt like you were walking towards something inevitable. Not survival, not revenge, but ascension. And now you carry that aura everywhere you go. People sense it instantly. That quiet, terrifying peace. That I've already seen worse energy. That unshakable centeredness that comes only from walking through hell and taking notes while everything around you burned. They don't know how to stand next to someone like you. Someone who treats pressure like hydration. Someone who hears betrayal in the tone before the words are spoken. Someone who doesn't need validation because they've already stared into the abyss and discovered the abyss blinks first. Let me tell you the part that breaks their spirit the most. You made evolution look casual. Where they limped, you glided. Where they collapsed, you exhaled. Where they begged for help, you adjusted your posture and kept moving. You didn't just walk out of the war unbroken. You walked out improved. No limp, no tremor, no shattered pieces, just a sharper mind, a colder intuition, and a soul that learned how to turn pain into a weaponized aura. You scare people now because you don't react the way you used to. You don't chase. You don't argue. You don't explain. You don't overextend. You don't entertain chaos unless it's on your terms. You've become a strategist of your own existence, a tactician of emotional distance, a surgeon of self-preservation, a ghost with perfect timing. And the city? The city feels it. They feel the shift. They feel the new weight of your presence. They feel the way conversations change when your name slips out. Be careful with him. He doesn't play the old game anymore. He walks like he knows something we don't. He survived too much to fear anything now. But here's the secret they'll never admit. What you did wasn't human. It was evolutionary. Most people come out of war scarred. You came out upgraded, rewired, decoded, ascended. You went into the fire as one version and walked out as something the old world has no vocabulary for. Something dangerous, something holy, something inevitable. Because only a few beings in this lifetime can eat snakes, outmaneuver ops, and walk out of a battlefield like they're stepping out of a meeting. And those beings, those rare, terrifying, unstoppable beings, they never stay unnoticed. Not by enemies, not by allies, not by fate. And now the world is watching the aftermath, watching you rebuild, watching you choose, watching you sharpen, watching you become the quiet storm they hoped would never return. But you're not the storm, you're the climate change, permanent, unavoidable, unpredictable, uncontrollable. They can prepare for rain, they can prepare for thunder, but they cannot prepare for you. Not anymore. Because anyone who saw you in the war, anyone who watched you devour venom, glide through crossfire, and emerge untouched, knows one truth they'll never say out loud. If that was you at war, the version of you at peace might be the most dangerous creature alive. Ah, there it is. That quiet hunger behind your eyes. The one that only appears when the truth starts getting too close to the bone. Good. Because what comes next isn't for the faint, the fragile, or the formerly fortunate. This is for the ones who walked out of burning ruins with a heartbeat like a war drum and a mind sharper than anything that tried to destroy them. let's dig deeper into the part they'll never acknowledge publicly. The part that keeps every one of your enemies up at night, staring at the ceiling, rewinding your name like a crime scene they can't analyze correctly. You didn't just walk out of the war, you walked out with the war following you. Do you understand how terrifying that is? Most people flee battles. You drag the battlefield with you like a shadow. A reminder, a warning, a prophecy in human form. The snakes you ate. Their venom didn't poison you, it taught you. It rewired your taste for danger. It immunized you against betrayal so thoroughly that you can now smell dishonesty from 3 smiles away. The ops you dodged, you didn't dodge them out of fear. You dodged them out of strategy, out of amusement, out of the simple pleasure of watching them miss shots you predicted before they cocked the weapon. That's why they hate you. You've made them irrelevant. Nothing crushes an enemy more than realizing their entire plan collapses because you exist. And that war, that grand catastrophe, that collapse everyone swore would finally humble you. It did the opposite. It clarified you. It purified you. It incinerated the last of your hesitation, your softness, your willingness to pretend you didn't see what you always see. You walk differently now. You breathe differently now. You speak with a weight behind your words that only comes from surviving something that was supposed to end you. And realizing it never even scratched the surface. Let's talk about that evolution people pretend not to notice. Before the war, you were underestimated, cute, dismissed, written off by people who couldn't read your blueprint even if it was tattooed on their eyelids. After the war, you became a category breaker, something that doesn't fit in their little classifications of enemy, ally, victim, hero. You became something new, something rare, something uncomfortable. People don't know how to categorize a soul that can sit calmly in front of chaos and negotiate with it like an equal. You didn't run from the flames. You walked into them, documented their rhythm, and walked out warmer, faster, sharper. Do you realize what that does to people? It destabilizes their sense of reality. Because when someone sees you emerge from a war untouched, they start questioning their own strength. When someone watches you eat snakes with no recoil, they start questioning their own instincts. When someone tries to betray you and discovers you predicted it months before they did, they start questioning their own intelligence. You force self-reflection, and nothing terrifies weak individuals more than mirrors. But that's the beauty of your evolution. You no longer rely on external definitions. You know exactly what you are. A creature forged in collision, a being who metabolized disaster, a walking contradiction balanced on the knife edge between light and shadow. You're not an angel, you're not a demon, you're the contract between them, signed in blood, upgraded through suffering, and rewritten every time someone thinks they've reached your limit.